experience. Let's go now to Jack Thompson. He's the attorney. This goes back a bit. He represented the families of the girls shot at a different school. Remember the one at Paducah, Kentucky back in '97? Well, Mr. Thompson is a strong opponent of violent computer games. Jack Thompson, thank you, sir, for joining us. I asked the suite mate, and again, it will come up in a moment here, this interview we just did. He said there was the kids are like most kids at that campus at Virginia Tech. They are basically into basketball and other sports. There's not a strong subculture of violent video games. And they had no real evidence that the shooter, and that's what we can call him now, Cho Seung Wee, was one of these kids involved with that sort of game.
Well, they're inconsistent in their comments, Chris. They said that they didn't have much to do with him, but yet they know what he was doing.
Well, they didn't see any evidence of that.
Well, in fact, the Washington Post today, as you know, reported that his high school friends or his associates said he was immersed incredibly in the video game, the computer-based game Counter-Strike. And
tell me about Counter-Strike, because it's a strong theory of yours. What is it?
Well, it's not just a theory.
Well, it's a theory that it had something to do with this case.
That's right. Until Monday, the worst school shooting in world history was in Erfurt, Germany, at the hands of Robert Steinhauser. He killed 16 and then himself, and he was immersed in the game Counter-Strike. It's a very violent internet-based game in which you kill as many people as possible with all sorts of weapons. That event changed the chancellor's race in Germany. It changed the laws in Germany, and here we have now Mr. Cho, who was involved in this same game, according to his high school classmates. His own suite mates in Blacksburg said that he was on the computer all the time. He wasn't downloading music. He was playing this game. Chris,
that's not what we just heard. Wait, we just talked to one of his suite mates who said when he looked on the screen, he said he just saw him writing linear English, just writing apparently essays or plays or something.
When he looked on the screen. But the fact is, and here's what's significant, Cho was able to go room to room very calmly, efficiently, coolly killing people. In Red Lake, Minnesota, Jeffrey Weiss killed 10 people, and they found that he trained on a video game to do it. Chris, you can't do something this well the first time you do it. And the fact is, it wasn't the first time. He was in a hyper-reality situation, in virtual reality. Almost every school shooter the FBI and Secret Service has found is immersed in violent entertainment.
Okay, explain to the civilian out here, the person who doesn't know about Counter-Strike, how's the game prepare or drill him in the execution of 32 people?
It drills you and gives you scenarios on how to kill them. It gets you to kill with your heart rate lower. In fact, the FBI agent in Red Lake said that we could tell by the surveillance videos that Weiss's heart rate was not above 60. That's impossible to do unless you've done it before. And so the video games, it's the reason, Chris, why the military uses these same type games to train soldiers how to kill and also to have the willingness to kill. And
what's your most recent, I need to get a, I know it's a theory, and it is a theory in this case. When is the most recent testimony, and when does it apply to, that he was involved with Counter-Strike, the video game? The Cho was.
Cho, his high school friends, and typically...
Okay, well, he's a fourth-year student at Virginia Tech.
Chris, I've been on college campuses. In fact, I was at Virginia Tech debating this issue a number of years ago, and the fact is, almost, I'd say 80% of the male students in colleges are spending their spare time playing these games. And for this suite mate to say that, A, he didn't have much to do with his suite mate, and yet he knows what he was doing, the fact
Do you know what he was doing?
We know.
Do you know whether Cho, the shooter, was involved with Counter-Strike at Virginia Tech the last 4 years?
Chris, we know in two regards. We know from his high school friends that he was into this. You don't drop it when you go to college, typically. Secondly, the FBI, the Secret Service, have found that the one common denominator among school shooters is the immersion in violent entertainment. And the significance of what happened today with NBC getting this is that this sending to NBC of this to extend beyond the grade, this media event, this is an extension of what this guy was into. Don't you understand? The video games are art imitating life, and then you get a bleed over of life imitating the art that he was into. This was all a game for this guy. It was a body count game.
Don't know that, though.
I know it from what other school shooters have done. I've represented the parents in Paducah.
Right, but you are projecting other cases onto this case. You're projecting what he was doing 4 or 5 years ago onto what he was doing this weekend.
Chris, the forensic fact is that the coolness with which he was able to pull this off, quote, the first time he did it, indicates he rehearsed it. I'm sorry. That's simply the way it works. That's what the FBI has found, the Secret Service. That's what we have in the school shooters. For example, the Montreal Dawson College shooter of last year, he trained on Super Columbine Massacre, an internet-based game, and also Postal 2. So the common denominator...
We'll find out. I'm not against any theories until they're proven or disproven. Let's see if this bears to be true here. Thank you very much.